cue, craving, response, reward. That is the habit cycle. Cue, craving, response or habit, and reward. So let's focus on just the cue here. If you're trying to initiate a positive habit, like exercise, like eating healthier, or if you're trying to stop a negative habit, it's going to come down to these very simple formula. And you can really use your brain and really use your thinking to make these things much, much easier. And you already have certain positive habits that you do in your life that are just automatic. And so you can use that as an example in your life, what's working, and then you can apply that to the things that you want to stop, or again, the good things that you want to start. Let's focus mostly on the cue. So you have a cue and a craving. So for example, the cue might be a pack of cigarettes on the kitchen table. And then there's the craving. So I'm not a smoker, so cigarettes on a kitchen table are maybe a cue, but they're not a craving for me. I don't smoke, so I'm not going to pick up those cigarettes and smoke. But if you're a smoker, you might see that as a cue, and then you've got the craving to smoke, right? So it's not just the cue, it's the craving too. And the cue can be environment-based, it can be where you're at, it can be a time of day, it can be an emotional thing like boredom or procrastination. It can be a lot of different things involved here. But if you can really think about that initial cue, you can use that again to initiate a positive habit or stop a negative habit. So for example, of timing, I used to be in this habit of eating at very specific times throughout the day. I would eat first thing in the morning within 45 minutes of waking up. And then I would eat at the mid-morning, and I would eat at lunch, and then I'd have a mid-afternoon snack. So I thought I was lifting weights and I needed to eat on this regular cycle. So I was eating based on timing, not really my natural cues of actual hunger. And even though I was eating healthy things, I was way overeating. And so when I started to go through started implementing fasting, it really made me realize that a lot of times when I was eating previously, I wasn't actually hungry. And so I could change that cue. Again, another cue might be environment. So for example, let's say in the evenings, your goal is you want to be more active. Every night you get home, you have supper, you're super tired, you plop yourself down the couch, you start watching Netflix, you start watching TV, and it's 2 hours later, and then you go off to bed. And you want to break that cycle, and you want to start to be more active. And so the cue might be a couple things. It might be timing, meaning it's after supper, this is the time of day that I watch TV. And a lot of these things, by the way, are subconscious or under the surface. You don't even realize these things are going on. And so a second cue might be remote control. I pick up the remote control and I turn on the TV. So one of the ways that you can break this cycle to change that cue would be to take that remote control and put it in your basement, or go put it in the trunk of your car. Put it someplace that it's not accessible. So then you go that cue and you go, oh, that's right, I told myself I was going to start to exercise, or I was going to start to go for a walk, or I was going to get outside instead of sitting in front of the TV. And that simple action of having to go all the way outside and get the remote control out of your trunk of your car is probably going to prevent you from actually watching TV. So you'll go and do the active thing. So that's one way to make it hard to initiate a habit that you don't want to do. Or you can make it really easy, which is, if you want to work out first thing in the morning, the cue is you wake up with your gym clothes on. You have your gym shoes right next to your bed, so when you get out of the bed, you actually step on them. That's a cue to make it really easy. So really think about these cues. The last thing I'll tell you about cue is cue can be based also, again, on how we're thinking. So I found with myself, for example, that a lot of times when I was looking at social media, I was looking at YouTube, or I was looking at Facebook, it was either procrastination. I was like, I know I need to do this difficult task, and I know I have to do it, but I don't want to start it. So instead, I'm going to scroll on Facebook, and then I look at Facebook for 15 minutes, then I go, oh, I don't have time to do this difficult activity that I was supposed to do because I wasted time on Facebook. Now, again, this is below the surface. I didn't really realize I was doing this. Or I was just bored. And so, again, if you can just be aware of those cues, you can, again, start to break that cycle. So if you have any questions on this, please let me know.